Hi everybody, Honest John here. Now, one of the things you hear people talk about is that the president has the bully pulpit, which means that he is able to communicate with the American people much better than any other politician simply because he is president. Now, the word bully, that's part of that, doesn't mean what it did when that term was coined. It came from Teddy Roosevelt back at the turn of the century. And the word bully at that time meant good or real good or great. You know, if you went to some place and you had a bully time, it was a great party. Since then, bully means something different. We all know what that means. It means a slimy turd who picks on people who aren't as able to defend themselves as they could be. So it's an apt description of Donald Trump. I mean, we've seen what makes up Donald Trump's personality for 3 years now. We know that he's vain, egotistical, malicious, incredibly lazy, and a bully. And these have all been on display in his handling of the coronavirus. Trump is notorious for not paying attention when he's given his daily briefings, and not even bothering to read the 1 or 2 pages that are given to him as a summary of it. And so right from the start, Trump has shown no interest at all in learning about anything. Now, I don't expect him to become an expert on the coronavirus. But he has access to all the experts on the coronavirus, so he should be able to learn enough about how it spreads and what makes it dangerous and what to do to prevent the spread. He should be able to learn that from the people around him, but he's just too lazy to do that. But not only that, he tries to bully them into sharing or confirming or reinforcing his ignorance. And so you see them, they're in order to, they don't want to lie to the American people, but they have to twist themselves into pretzels in order to not piss off Trump. They have to fudge the truth instead of just telling it straight out. And this was right from the start when he insisted that it was a hoax or that it would magically disappear. I mean, and he's still insisting that somehow it's going to magically disappear. You can tell that he has learned nothing. He knows no more about the virus than he did in February. Even though he has some of the world's best experts to learn from. But instead of listening to them, he is determined to force them to echo his uninformed opinions. And so, for example, when a doctor expressed reservations about hydroxychloroquine, a doctor who happened to be working on a vaccine, Trump had him fired. Turned out the doctor was right, but Trump hasn't changed his mind or mentioned that. When the CDC issued guidelines for controlling the virus, he forced them to weaken them. And even after that, he sent out his terrorist group, the Boogaloo Boys, to protest against his own administration's guidelines for reopening, attempting to intimidate governors that he didn't like into opening up, even though it wasn't safe to do that. That's what a bully does. From the start, he's refused to use his presidential powers to actually try to combat the virus, while insisting that he should be praised for doing sometimes less than nothing. Now he wants schools reopened. And instead of listening to the CDC as to how to open the schools safely, he is once again forcing them to weaken their guidelines for reopening the schools, even though that will place people, especially children, at risk. Now, there's kind of a conventional wisdom that children are immune to the virus, and this is not true. It does seem like their immune system seem to handle it better, but we have seen children get sick. We have seen children die. Just last week, an 8-year-old died in Florida. And the reason why we don't really know what children's response is to the virus is because we closed down the schools and sent them home, and so a whole lot of them never got exposed to it. But if Trump gets his way, we're going to learn exactly what the situation with children and the coronavirus. And that could get really ugly. Because Trump is bullying the governors and education officials to open the schools without providing them with the tools to open safely. Now, I don't think most Americans are going to be happy with him bullying children. Thanks for listening.